And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on back. I hope you're doing well, feeling good, having a nice day out there, wherever you may be. Whatever corner of this beautiful place we call home is wherever you are, and whenever you're watching, hope that you're all doing well. As today we dive into a little bit from Fish. We've listened to a track off of this album, and now it's time to listen to just a little bit more. We checked out State of Mind previously, and we're going to back it on up to the beginning of this album. A Vigil in a Wilderness of Mirrors, debut solo album from Fish, obviously from Marillion. And this track had been suggested quite a bit. The album had been mentioned quite a bit as well, so I figured we would go ahead and dive in and give it a little bit of a listen here. The track had been suggested by a few people, such as Simon B. over on the Discord. Let's see, Mark Ferret, you said I would enjoy this album as a whole. Murray Simpson, Matt Latham, I see you here as well. Andy Parnham and Nagralika. Hope I said your name correctly, but thank you guys so much for the suggestion as well. What do you say we dive on in, maybe discuss it a little bit after, and here we go.
Listen to me, just hear me out. If I could have your attention, just quieten down. For a voice in the crowd, I get so confused, and I don't understand. I know you feel the same way. You've always wanted to say, but you don't get the chance. Just a voice in the crowd, in the crowd.
Love how slow it is to build up, taking its time. No rush.
I don't know the score anymore.
But we're getting there. We are getting there.
It's not clear anymore. I can't tell right from wrong anymore. I just don't understand.
Interesting shift here.
I was just sitting here thinking of exchanging a new world for old, like changing the channels on TV, or the dirt that we stand into gold. When I was young, my father told me just bad guys die. At that time, just a little white lie. It was one of the first, but it hurt me the most. And the truth stung like tears in my eyes, that even the good guys must die. There's no reasons, no crimes, and I never knew why. Even now, it still makes me cry. If there's somebody out there, could they throw me down the line? Just a little helping hand, just a little understanding, just some answers to the questions that surround me now. If there's somebody out there, is not all that it seems. Am I blind?
That was a really fantastic transition to the marching pattern and now with the horns, or the pipes rather.
You sit there and talk revolution, but can you tell me just who's in command? When you tell me the forces we're fighting, then I'll join you and gladly make plans. But for now, just our t-shirts cry freedom, and our voices are gagged by our greed. Our minds are harnessed by knowledge, by the hill and the will to succeed. And if that's not what you believe, would you just let me know I'm not standing alone, that I'm not just a voice in the crowd? If there's somebody out there, would they throw me down the line? Just a little helping hand, just a little understanding, just some answers to the questions that I'm asking you. If there's somebody out there, just throw me down the line, just a little guiding light to tell wrong from right, just some answers to the questions that I'm asking you. I'll keep a vigil in a wilderness of liberty, where nothing is exactly how it seems. You're reaching out, you're so close you can touch it, but it all disappears when it's always so near. But one day we will find that we stand in the light. Until then I keep a vigil in a wilderness of mirrors. Nothing here is ever what it seems. I'm scared to shout in case I draw attention from the powers that preside over our minds and our lives. When they find what I want is the deadliest weapon, that is truth. Day by day, it's getting louder, and day by day, it's getting stronger. But when I can't scream no more, and I need reassurance, I listen to the crowd.
You know, it's really fantastic to hear Fish in this kind of solo context. And it's not like we haven't listened to him before, but to hear him using those dramatic wings that he has very ably stretched out with Marillion, and to take that kind of theatrical sensibility and insert it into something that's obviously much more personal and isolated in that kind of respect emotionally, and allow him to kind of use that craft to build something that's much more personal to him. You know, obviously with Marillion, I don't know, but Fish is probably the primary songwriter during his tenure there. And but you have the influence of, other band members, and so is everyone really together. This, you're separating him from that, and so isolating his message as well, who he is as a person individually. And it is just really cool to hear him in this kind of process and in this kind of scenery because he crafts magic with what he develops here. The intro and the outro, the quiet nature of everything, and how everything so subtly comes together is my favorite part of this track. I think the whole thing is phenomenal. And to me, an example of how to create a progressive rock track that is deeply emotional, resonant, personal, and still hitting a longer time, 8 minutes and 47 seconds. It's not long, but it's longer than, like, obviously a 3-minute song. And I think that this is a great way to do it because it is incredibly varied in how it progresses. From the beginning, obviously you have the intro, which is about 2 minutes or so. I wasn't exactly looking, but it's around that. And I love how it just feels like we're deep in the woods with Fish, alone with his thoughts. And he's speaking directly to us, the audience, I think, with those first lines. This is the first track off of his debut studio album. So after Leave Marillion, this is the first words that he speaks to us. Listen to me, just hear me out. If I could have your attention, just quiet down for a voice in the crowd, and it goes on from there. We'll read the rest of it in a little bit. But I really like how he calls us to attention in this kind of quiet by the campfire, fireside chat, basically in the woods. And that's what I kind of get from the intro. The mood of this whole thing is absolutely wonderful and, like I said, very woodsy and tranquil and very dark, very nocturnal. A few keys there to kind of light up the path, kind of providing a little bit of moonlight there in the music, but otherwise it's just us alongside a Fish taking this journey. And then even once it gets going later on, that's very dramatic, right? Very dramatic opening, but there's still a lot of space left. And even when the music kind of kicks in here,
that even the good guys must die.
First of all, the bass, which is performed by Giblin. There's a lot of Kate Bush kind of alumni here, or people that have worked with her, such as Spillane here on the pipes, which you hear later on, Giblin on the bass as well. And I love Giblin's bass. It is just incredibly fluid. It maneuvers through the dark in a beautiful and wonderful way. And it has a voice of its own. And I feel like the bass kind of carries on the ambience that's set up in the beginning from those keyboards. He kind of brings that in, obviously in a completely different way, but I think he kind of still sets and carries that particular mood. And then Fish, in his singing, like I said in the beginning, very isolated, very personal, kind of quiet. Eventually, and I do mean eventually, building up to something more dramatic. But can I say that it sounds much more heartfelt and straight from him directly as he builds into those more dramatic moments. Even the random yelps and yas and stuff that come in later on, I feel they work in context with the song. And, he's really playing a little bit more into the scenery, but I feel like it still works contextually, especially as that part builds up. The build up into the chorus there is big, and I like how that chorus has so much meaning to it. There's a big swing into it as well. And Fish's delivery becomes much more rapid in many ways at that particular point as well. The marching pattern that comes out here is so cool how it marches away from the scene that was said before, led by those pipes by Spillane, like I said, because the track is entitled Vigil, and the album is Vigil in a Wilderness of Mirrors, and so it kind of acts as this almost funeral procession. It almost acts as a call of respect and a march out of the woods to a final resting place, or something like that. And I think that the way that he creates this progressive procession is immaculate. I actually think that this is the perfect way to make an 8-minute track. That it has a catchy chorus, but it doesn't rely on it. It actually has a lot to say, and not just verbally.
Just our t-shirts cry freedom, and our
the space that's still left in here, especially by the drums. And kind of harkens back to that first verse. It kind of harkens back to that particular sound of things before ending and going back to the final chorus. So the track perfectly builds up to the hilltop and then drops back down and maintains that structure as it comes down as well, while still making it very interesting to listen to musically. And I love how we end back in this isolated ambience. This is a really phenomenal track with some really great lyrics, and you can really feel that there's a personal touch to this. Listen to me, just hear me out. If I could have your attention, just quiet down for a voice in the crowd. I get so confused, I don't understand. I know you feel the same way you've always wanted to say, but you don't get the chance. Just a voice in the crowd, just a singular voice overpowered by others around. Now, I do not know why fish left Merlion. I have not ever really looked into that. So I can't help but think about it and look into it. Perhaps this is a little bit autobiographical and self-telling. Maybe he feels like his voice wasn't heard. I don't know. I'm just perusing the words, trying to find some meaning. But he also says, I know you feel the same way. So of course he could take this and apply it to the listener as well. Sometimes we feel like our voice just gets lost in the crowd and we're not properly heard. I don't know the score anymore. It's not clear anymore. I can't tell right from wrong anymore. I just don't understand. I was sitting here thinking of exchanging a new world for old, like changing channels on the TV or the dirt we stand in to gold. A little alchemy in there. Now, I really can't help but think, is this talking about him in the band? Or maybe it just could be general worldview as well. When I was young, my father told me just the bad guys die. At the time, just a little white lie. It was one of the first, but it hurt me the most. And the truth stung like tears in my eye. That even the good guys must die. There's no reasoning, no crimes, and I never know why. Even now, it still makes me cry. If there's somebody up there, could they throw me down a line? Just a little helping hand, just a little understanding. Some answers to the questions that surround me now. If there's somebody out there, just throw me a line, just a little guiding light to tell right from wrong. Some answers to the questions that I'm asking. I keep a vigil in a wilderness of mirrors where nothing here is ever what it seems. You stand so close, but you never understand it. For all that we see is not what it seems. Am I blind? Obviously, the first part is pretty straightforward, just asking for some help, asking for some understanding. But the idea of keeping a vigil in the wilderness. First of all, a vigil in the wilderness is probably a very isolated place. Not a lot of people are going there. And yet he pays a respect, he pays some sort of ode and homage rather, to something or someone that has passed. And he keeps that vigil in the wilderness. As isolated as it is, still respecting them. That voice that wasn't in the crowd. That individual. But it's also a wilderness of mirrors, always self-reflecting, always a mystery, always kind of a maze in a way. I don't know. You sit there and talk revolution, but can you tell me who's in command? When you tell me the forces we are fighting, then I'll gladly join and make plans. But for now, only our t-shirts cry freedom, and our voices are gagged by our greed. Our minds are harnessed by knowledge, by the will and will to succeed. And if that's not what you believe, would you let me know I'm not standing alone? That I'm not just a voice in the crowd. I like that. Tell me what to do. But for now, I'm just gonna wear t-shirts and cry freedom and, voices gagged by greed. Shut up and I'll pay you. That kind of thing. And repeats the lines there, of course, once again. But there's a change here. It says, I'm scared to shout in case I draw attention from the powers that preside over our minds and our lives. When they find what I want is the deadliest weapon, that is truth. Day by day, it's getting louder. Day by day, it's getting stronger. But when I can't scream no more and I need reassurance, I listen to the crowd. Interesting change there. When he can't fight anymore, when he can't scream anymore, he listens to those other voices in the crowd. Perhaps he's complying. What's that C word? When everyone conforming. Perhaps conformity is the death of individuality. Yeah, I suppose. That sounds smart. Sure. I was going to say something else. Oh, I'm scared to shout in case I draw attention from the powers that preside over our minds and lives. That reminds me of a line. It was in Blood Meridian, I think it was. Blood Meridian quotes. Was it? It may not have been in Blood Meridian. I don't know. I've been going through books. When the sheep cries for its mom. I think I'm trying to find the exact line. Okay, here it is. I want the full quote. Is it in here? Is it lamb? Okay, yes. Okay, it's here. All right, so it reminds me of this line. When the lamb is lost in the mountain, he said, they cry, basically. Sometime comes the mother, sometime the wolf. So that's a good line. I like that line a lot. You know, when you're lost in the wilderness, so to speak, and you cry out, you're crying out for your mom or someone to come out and protect you. You never know who's going to hear that. So I feel like the lyrics here is kind of hitting something very similar. I'm scared to shout in case I draw attention from the powers that preside over our minds. I want to shout, I want to say something, I want to use my voice, but and yes, I want other people to hear me and perhaps be encouraged by me, and etc. But who else is listening? I don't want to draw attention to myself and perhaps be, what's the word? Don't want to be looked at in a troubling way from the powers that be. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot packed into this song. There's a lot of meaning packed into this one, and I feel like even though I'm hitting some little points around, I'm probably missing the complete target. But I think that I've hit it pretty good. I'm looking on the album Wikipedia. The songs deal with themes that Fish has always been passionate about, personal issues and politics. I'm looking for Vigil through here. I'm trying to find it. Other songs express a more general disgust with materialism, such as Vigil. The phrase wilderness of mirrors is originally from T.S. Eliot's poem Gerontion, but has since become a widely used metaphor for disinformation and spy fiction. I can see that. Great song, nonetheless. You let me know what you guys thought of it, of course, down below in the comments. I appreciate you being here. Press the like button if you don't mind, just before you leave, before you skedaddle, before you split. Thank you so much for being here. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all later. Bye.